Meet Kyven Gadson, an MMA fighter and wrestler who won a national title for Iowa State University. This week, Kyven turned his athletic efforts on the mat to the octagon, debuting his first professional MMA fight, winning in the first round.
I trained for it. I spoke it into existence. Then I went out and executed it.
I'm catching up with him right after this huge victory to share with you how to develop a championship mentality.
If I can do something that I know is going to help me be better today, I'll be all right.
And how to be relentless in your pursuit of your goals. Hear his life story of being raised and coached by his father, a former ISU wrestler and accomplished coach.
Because he would tell me, he was like, hey man, when you're ready to win, come see me.
Making the decision to be great after being embarrassed in high school in front of a bunch of girls.
I was like, man, do you know how many girls just saw me just get absolutely embarrassed?
And how he got on the podium, winning first place nationally after losing his father tragically to cancer.
You know, I love my dad. I'm about to start tearing up. Whew. This is awesome. We worked for this.
And how he just wanted some ice cream after he won the national championship.
I just want some ice cream, man. I just want some ice cream.
He shares some crazy experiences as well as close calls where he almost lost everything.
When the storm comes, when night falls, what's worse, the danger or the fear of danger?
From injuries to a close call with a DUI that could have ruined his wrestling career.
What's done in the dark will eventually come to the light.
This episode will leave you inspired and ready to conquer your own goals this week. Let's jump in. What's going on, everybody? My name is Ryan Snod. It rhymes with odd, and you're listening to watching the Rhymes with Odd podcast. Today, we are jumping in the booth with another amazing guest. We've got Kyven Gadson in the house. Kyven, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ryan. I just learned how to pronounce your name when you said it.
There you go.
That's
Snod. It rhymes with odd.
Yes. I should have put that together a little bit ago, but that's solid. I like that, how that rings. That rings really, really well. I'm happy to be here. I appreciate you reaching out and giving me an opportunity to talk about my life a little bit and my story and where we've been, where we're at, and where we're going.
Sure. No, man, I appreciate you so much for coming out. For people that don't know, Kyven is now just coming off his first professional MMA fight with a dub. So congratulations, brother. That's awesome.
Thank you. It was an amazing experience. I'm super proud of myself for putting myself in the position to make the walk. Super appreciative of the people, the partners, the support system that helped me navigate my way back to this level, and just an immense amount of gratitude, man. I think I lost that a little bit. I had lost that gratitude for being able to do the hard things at the end of my wrestling career, and I'm grateful to be able to be back in this place, going through the hard workouts, the shark baits, the running, the training sessions, and being thank you, just thank you, and just thank you, God, this is awesome, and smiling through the suffering and just learning and evolving. It's been awesome.
No, it's awesome. And we will talk so much about that. I think that's going to be a big part of the story. For people that don't know, you're a former Division I championship wrestler.
Yes, sir.
At the Iowa State University. What year did you win the national championship?
10 years ago, 2015.
Crazy, man.
Yes.
A decade in the making.
A decade, yes.
Are there statues erected of you anywhere that you know of? Maybe some crazy stalker's basement or something?
No statues, but there is an ice cream.
Okay,
there is an ice cream. So we have an ice cream at the Iowa State Creamery called Championship Kyven Dough. Full bias, it's delicious. I would like that to get into, some stores.
Sure. If somebody's listening, they're in the P&G space, shoot Kyven a message.
Let's
man.
get it done. Let's get it done. Because it's really good. It is really, really good. So
well, we had Lola's Fine Sauces, the hot sauce company.
Okay.
Tafik on, and he kind of jump-started his business. We'll have to send him a message, see if we can get him connected. They're in Walmart's, Targets, they're in everything. So, and he's got an interesting story as well. But before we kind of get too lost in the mix here, would love to kind of get your, I would say your quick stat, your overview. who you are and what you've done in terms of like your wrestling and combat sports career for people that don't know, and then we can kind of jump into your backstory. But if you get off a plane, there's an Uber driver picks you up and they're like a huge wrestling fan, like Kyven Gadson, oh my gosh. How would you talk about that? Like, who are you and what do you do in terms of the combat sports and the wrestling world of your career?
Who is Kyven Gadson in terms of combat sports in my wrestling career? I would say I am an Iowa native, a lifelong Cyclone. Like, grew up wanting to go to Iowa State. My dad wrestled there. My uncle wrestled there. My parents met there. I was a prep Iowa high school state champion at Waterloo East High School. Decided to go to Iowa State in 2009 and wrestle under Kyven Gadson. Was a 3-time Big 12 champ for him there. Also a 3-time All-American, with that last All-American finish in 2015 being a national title. After that, I stepped away from wrestling briefly and then decided that I wanted to see if I could be the best in the world in freestyle wrestling, and came up short. Was an Olympic alternate in 2021, the second Olympic alternate. So I did that for 2015 to 2022, and that was my last competitive wrestling match in 2022 at the World Team Trials in Extreme Arena in Coralville. Mm-hmm. And now I am trying to see what we can do in the sport of professional mixed martial arts, where you can kick, punch, elbow, choke, slam, and, you know, bring an array of different, I guess you could say, weapons, you know, that just come with how you're born, you know. And so I'm very excited to explore that and just see what we can do in that realm.
Sure. No, I'd love you giving the explanation. I think it definitely can't go overstated how much of an accomplishment your wrestling career was into this point and how you're transitioning to the new stuff. And for people that don't know, wrestling is an extremely hard sport. If you're not from Iowa or listening, like it's kind of a culture thing around here. Like the state of Iowa, it's one of the biggest states that do it, with us in Nebraska. But I'd say Iowa's still probably the most popular sport or state with the sport for sure.
Oh, 100%. And the explosion of girls wrestling has been absolutely nuts.
And you know Kennedy Blades, right, from
Yes,
Iowa? So
yes.
we've shot with her for some of her NIL content.
Oh, that's awesome.
And seeing her just suplex people is kind of crazy. We're like,
Yes.
is her neck attached? Just boom, just drop on their head.
Olympic silver medalist, still in college.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the sport of wrestling is an awesome sport. I'm super excited to see how women's wrestling continues to help elevate and grow the overall sport. And it's been really cool to see these young ladies have opportunities just like the young men have opportunities to grow and learn like discipline and how to listen, how to be coachable, how to have tough conversations, how to be persistent in the face of failure, how to climb a mountain, how to climb back up a mountain when someone knocks you down. There's just so many great lessons that come with the sport of wrestling. And I'm glad that both, you know, young boys, young girls, and young men and young women are having that opportunity.
Well, and the growth's been just explosive. I know, like, we're in the North Polk school district, and Ankeny had Centennial, North Polk, I think Ballard. They had like 6 schools in one program, and now North Polk by itself has enough for its own team.
Yes.
It's like that's in like 2 years of growth. It's kind of ridiculous how fast it's going. So, and we're filming some hype promo stuff for the girls wrestling for Ankeny. And like I said, they're kind of losing schools, so the logos keep changing because the colors are changing and all the stuff. So it's been cool to see.
That's awesome.
As we're kind of getting started here, I think before we get to current day, I think it'd benefit everyone to hear kind of your backstory. So you mentioned wrestling for Waterloo, that type of thing. Tell me a little bit about like where you grew up, kind of what was your childhood like when you first started out in life here?
Where did I grow up? I was born in Iowa City, U of I hospitals. I don't know what they gave me, but it made me grow up a little bit bigger than anyone else in my family.
Was your family pretty short in stature?
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely pretty short. So I had no idea I would be like almost 6 feet. Otherwise, I think I would have played football. But my mom was working on a doctorate at the University of Iowa, and my dad was coaching, and I spent from 0 to through 6th grade in Iowa City, went to Grant Wood Elementary down there, and then we moved to Waterloo for junior high, went to Logan Middle School, which is no longer there, but went to Waterloo East High School, which will now be essentially like a junior high or a 8th and 9th grade, I believe, because Waterloo's moving to become the Waterloo United Titans. So the Waterloo West Wallhawks and the Waterloo East Trojans are coming together, and there's just going to be one high school in Waterloo, which I'm really excited about. I know there's some skeptics, which with change, there's always going to be skeptics, but I think there can be a lot of positives for the city and for the people in the city, just because I think sports, academics, arts, they all have a place in today's life, and if you use those, they can be a vehicle. They really can be a vehicle to change your life. So yeah, I grew up, I'm an Iowa boy, Iowa born, Iowa bred, and I've lived the last 33 years here, and I think I got a few more in my system.
Sure. No, that's awesome. You mentioned kind of your father being a coach. How much of an influence was kind of his passion for wrestling and you getting into the sport? Was it one of those things you were just always around practice and you just kind of fell into it? Or was it kind of like, oh, I've got a son, like he's going to wrestle?
I think it was the latter, but I definitely grew up around the wrestling room. Like my dad was the head Division I college coach at Eastern Michigan from 1992 to 1997. When he left that and came to Iowa City, then he was the athletic director at Wilton.
Okay.
And he also coached with Brad Smith at Iowa City High. And so I remember vividly, even just like this weekend, I bumped into Kyle Anson, who growing up was an absolute savage. He ended up going to UNI. And I just remember, I turned to the left. I was at preseason kids nationals. I turned to the left, and I'm like, I think that's Kyle Anson, you know. And I went up and said hello to him afterwards, and he had his kids there. He's like, "Oh man, you're making me feel old," because I was telling his kids, like, I remember growing up watching your dad, because I remember going there. There was Johnny Galloway Jr., 3-time state champ. Anthony Watson was a state champ. You had Cody Smith, who was a state champ. Then you had Jacob Smith, who was a state runner-up. Colton Smith. You had this City High team that was really absolutely epic, like just loaded to the gills with talent and work ethic. And that was my example. That was my example to see like how you do something. And I'm just so grateful that I got to be in those environments, because then when I get to high school, it wasn't anything like different. It was like, oh, you've already seen what it takes to be great. Not maybe every single detail, but you know that you got to show up to practice. And one practice isn't going to be enough. It's going to be 2 practices. And it might not even be 2 practices. You might have to go get some work after that practice. You know, it can't just be, oh, well, the coach told me to do this. Well, what the coach is telling you to do is like the minimum standard for what the expectation is in this program. And City High was absolutely formidable at that point. And I got to be around some really, really great guys and around their families, and essentially just be like a little brother and just get raised by people that I would consider like winners or champions in life. And so I think it rubbed off on me.
For sure. I love hearing that too, because there's so many, wrestling's such a unique sport, and I'm from Fort Madison, so that's like life down there. Didn't wrestle though, I was a basketball player, so I was like kind of adjacent to seeing my buddies eating an apple for lunch, and that's all they've had to eat all day type of thing. I'm like, I don't know, this might not be for me. I'm like, I'm going to stay away. I'll have your food since you had to already get your meal. But I think it's interesting seeing it from a distance, because it's an individual sport, but it's a team sport.
Right.
But also there's a lot of natural ability where you can have like a state qualifier or state champion from like rural Iowa, from 1A school of podunk nowhere.
Yes.
But just a hard-ass working farm boy that can sling some people around and can figure it out. It's like, it's such a unique sport because there's that combination of skill and then just natural talent. and just work ethic. I think those are like the three things. It's such a unique combination, because every sport, everyone knows kind of that, like they're really talented and they just kind of get by on that. They don't go to practice. They're jogging and, they're not going to weights. They're not reading film study, whatever. It's like other sports you can kind of get by. But I feel like if you don't have those three in wrestling, you're kind of screwed because you're on the mat with that spotlight and everybody's watching,
Right. You can't run the details come out. The details come out. I was probably 10 years old and I got in trouble for doing something with my sister. I don't remember what we did, but I remember the consequence. And the consequence was you had to write 1,000 times on a piece of paper. It wasn't one piece of paper, but on some paper. What's done in the dark will eventually come to the light. And that is seared into my mind, seared into my mind from every different thought process. It's like the work you do is going to show up. If you work your tail off, good things are going to happen. If you don't, it's going to come out. And so just trying to live in that mind frame has been something that's been really cool for me. And it's something that I have to work on, daily.
I think it's interesting too, this mindset, because like you said, the spotlight's on you if you've been missing practices, if you're not doing what you're supposed to, the entire gym's going to see you just get smashed and destroyed. Yes. How did that work ethic kind of apply to you early on? You mentioned you saw some of these titans in that wrestling world, and you got to see that work ethic every day. What are some of those things you picked up early on that were things that you kind of attribute to your success later on in your career?
Some of the things, I think it was just doing the extra. One of the things that I remember having a conversation with my dad about is I saw guys in high school do really, really well and then go to college and not make an adjustment. And I didn't understand it at that point. Why have they not adjusted or made that flip? And I remember having this conversation with myself that essentially the moment I stop having fun with it, I'll be done with it, like the Drake line. And it was I don't want to have many of those moments out there where I didn't represent myself, my faith, my family, my support system at a high level, right? And so I think what I learned from those moments is that if you're going to do it, be present in it. If you're going to do it, do the extra. If you're going to do it to the best of your ability and be at peace with the outcome. Do the preparation, do the hard things, do the work. Turn over the stones, right? Like the old adage, turn over the stones. But be at peace with what comes once you go out there, because as much as you like to think we get to control, the outcome, it's the work, it's the preparation, it's the decision making beforehand, the repetitions that put you in the mind frame to just be at peace. And so that's one of the things I think I learned from watching them, but then it's one of those things you just have to experience. you have this blueprint, and you can follow it, but some things aren't going to work for you like they worked for someone else. And so you still are required to learn, adapt, evolve, and make tweaks here and there that fit you and your personality. And I believe I did those things decently well and feel pretty good.
Sure. That's great. So you finish up high school. I think your record was it 113 and 12?
Yes.
In high school?
Yes.
Any of those, we always talk about the wins. You talk to people like Dan Gable. I think all they ever gets interviewed about is the losses, right? Yeah. I would say big losses or things that stuck out to you that were like you said, I got to make these adjustments when I get to that next level in college to make sure I'm even better than I am now?
Well, I think there was 2 losses in high school that really, really stuck with me. It was losing at No, I think there was three now. First match I lost in high school was the J.J. Krutzinger, who wrestled at the University of Iowa. We're at 125 pounds, right? I think I'm 14 years old, 125 pounds. He's a senior. He's going to the University of Iowa the next year on his situation, right? And I probably should be at 119 pounds. But the way our team was set up, all these different things, it was like, I'm going to go 125. And I get tech fault. So I get tech fault freshman in high school. And I'm coming into high school thinking I'm going to be a 4-time state champ, right? No, not the story. That's not how this worked. So he beats me that year, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to get a lot better. And then we go through the rest of the season. I do decently well. Don't lose a ton. I think I'm, 30 and maybe 3 or 4 going into the districts. Lose twice there. And it was that first loss at districts that put me in a situation where I'm probably not going to make the state tournament, right? Like, because you have to be the top 2 at that point. And in our district, the guys that went placed 5th and 6th. And losing there, I was like, man, I'm definitely not as good as I thought that I was. And then the following week, when I'm used to going to the state tournament because I've been watching City High wrestle since 2nd grade, and I have my bag packed and I'm ready to go. And my dad's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "We're going to the state tournament. We go every year." "You're not going." I'm like, what do you mean I'm not going? You had your opportunity to qualify, and you didn't qualify.
Dang, Dad.
And it sounds cold, right?
Literally,
it sounds
ice cold, dude.
But calculated, I believe, because it wasn't that I didn't qualify and punch my ticket. It was that my behaviors leading up to that point didn't give me the best opportunity to go and qualify and punch my ticket. He pulled me out of a little bit of wrestling season because I had a C+ in biology. Why did I have a C+ in biology? Not because of the coursework being too hard, but more so because I was in class goofing around. So my habits didn't align, my behaviors didn't align with having an A or a B. And so he pulls me out, and I'm like, what are we talking about? There's 5 freshmen in the high school in biology. And I actually think it was hard, but I also was goofing off. But then that Saturday of districts, I came in the morning of like 6 or 7 pounds over, like at 125 pounds, which I was growing, but it was still just a lack of discipline.
Because then you gotta work that off.
You gotta work that off.
And 5 pounds or 6 pounds in 2
like
hours.
2 hours, right? And I did it. Like and when I'm telling you, to this day we get there because he knew I was lying. Like he knew I was lying. So the night before I get my weight down. Like I'm down to weight, 127 pounds, ready to go. We go over to Mike Van Arsdale's house, which Mike will probably come up back in the story. But we go over to Mike Van Arsdale's house. He's a UFC coach at the time, might even be fighting, right? He's working with Rashad Evans, UFC champ, all these different guys at the Black Zillions down in Florida. And Mike has like spaghetti, to carb load, some chicken, some like garlic toast. But there was some like fruit punch, bro. Like, right. I don't know what was in this fruit punch, but when I was cutting weight, I was like, I need it. And I ended up weighing 134, 135 that night, like probably the heaviest I had been all season after getting my weight down. And so we get home, I check my weight, and I'm like, wide-eyed. And my dad's like, hey, what do you weigh? I'm like, oh, like 129. He's like, oh, okay. Weigh-ins are at 10 the next morning. It's at Cedar Falls. The district tournament is at Cedar Falls, which is 8 minutes from the house. And 8 minutes from the house, 15 minutes from the school, right? So 6 a.m. comes. He wakes me up. He's like, hey, let's go check your weight at the school. I'm like, okay. I'm just trying to act all like nonchalant, like it's not a big deal. I get on the scale. I'm 130, I think probably 133 and a half or something like that. And he's like, all right, put your stuff back on. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, put your stuff back on. We're going home. I'm like, what are you talking about? We got districts today. He's like, you're not wrestling. I'm like, what do you mean I'm not wrestling? It's districts. He was like, you didn't do what you were supposed to do. Like, your weight's out of control. You're not wrestling. And I'm like, I am wrestling at districts. I'll make the weight. You can leave me here. And he literally left me. He left me at the high school in the basement dungeon, like by myself. Like, and I swear I'm still scared of the dark a little bit. Like, you gotta like go take the trash can out to the curb.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would
get your headlamp on.
Yeah.
Like...
I like run back in the house. But he like left me in the basement and I was like, all right. And he came back. I made weight. But I just didn't have the same zip pop, and I'm not sure I would have beat the guy anyways. He was a veteran. He was smart. But it was like your behaviors are not aligning with someone who's going to be successful, son. And I wasn't understanding that. And so, again, the next week when he was like, oh, you had your chance to qualify, it was because behaviors weren't aligning. And I got better throughout the course of that, like, summer. So I ended up not going. And I promised myself, I remember watching the state tournament, watching a guy that I had beat earlier in the year be on the podium, watching a guy that I had lost to by 1 point, who Anthony Bacom, he wrestled at Marshalltown. He was a state runner-up. Helped me. One of my trainers did some video for me. This past fight camp was my strength and conditioning coach while I was moving through Team USA. Just a great person. But things weren't aligning with me being successful. And my dad was very appropriately rigid on those things, like in my opinion, appropriately rigid. And so I just learned some tough lessons that I had to learn how to like respond to. And so those were the 2 losses my freshman year. But then the state finals, my senior year or my sophomore year versus Derek St. John was a big eye opener for me because, again, I thought I had grown so much. I got to the state finals and I didn't listen to the instructions. Like, my dad said, we're going to do this. I said, yeah, I got to the state finals, bro. I got it. And went out there and got beat by 13 points in the state finals as a sophomore.
He gave you a plan, strategy,
yeah.
And you said, piss on it, I'll do it myself.
Yeah,
I'm smarter than you.
I said, I got this. I said, hold my drink.
He's like, I'll be over here in the front row with my like the face on. Like,
yes.
Oh.
And so he let me learn that lesson tough. And I remember after that match, like walking off, just being like heartbroken, just like, man. And I went up to him literally right after. Because he would tell me, he was like, hey, man, when you're ready to win, come see me. Like, when you're ready to win, come see me. And I went up to him after that match, getting beat in the state finals. I was like, man, do you know how many, like, girls just saw me, like, just get absolutely, like, man, like, embarrassed? You know, like, I don't think people always understand the embarrassment one might feel getting, like, handled or beat up, right?
Sure.
But it's a humbling experience, and I think it's really good for people. And we go, and I said, Dad, I will do whatever you tell me to do as long as that never happens to me again. Because he had been telling me, like, hey, I'm ready. When you're ready to learn, I'm ready to teach. And that was the moment where, like, I just saw, like, jumps happening, like, really, really quick. And so just grateful for those hard lessons that you don't like appreciate in the moment, but when you look back, it's like, okay, what's done in the dark is going to come to light. And we were able to go through high school the rest of the time in Folkstyle in the state of Iowa and go undefeated and go on a pretty dominant tear. I went from 125 pounds as a freshman to 145 as a sophomore, which kind of tells you that I actually was growing between the time that I had all the fruit punch, but I still had too much fruit punch. And then
I didn't know that. You drink a gallon of fruit punch and grow like 4 inches and put on 20 pounds. That's crazy.
Yeah. And then 171 as a junior and 189 as a senior. So
that's crazy. Well, when you get in that like 160 to 180, like those are some bad dudes, man.
Yes.
Those are some like pound for pound wrestlers. Like those are some tough people to wrestle. Like I'm 225. Like I wouldn't wrestle the 170 guys. I'm like, nope. Like those are some bad dudes.
100%.
Yeah, that's crazy. So we've talked about this like parenting style of your father's and kind of how he's letting you fall on your face.
Yes.
Are you a parent now?
I am. I have a daughter. She's 6, turns 7 in December.
Okay. Congrats, man.
Thank you.
So
are you?
I am. Yes. Yeah. So
Okay.
I have a 3-year-old son, 1.5-year-old daughter as well.
Okay.
So
Yes.
This is something though that I've thought about as a parent because I was 3-sport athlete all through high school. Could have played college baseball, but decided not to. And it's something I thought about as my kids are getting into like extracurriculars. Like, what kind of parent do I want to be? Like, how tough do you want to be on them? Are you going to adopt some of those things that your father did with you, with kind of that like coaching mentality to your parenting style, or if they want you to coach, or are you going to change some things a little bit based on your experience as the receiver, as the child in that situation?
One lesson I got from a buddy was, you know how to parent yourself better. Like if you could go back, you know how to like parent yourself better. And I find that I'm like, man, that's actually pretty profound, because your parents did the best that they knew to do, what they could do with the resources that they had, all these different things. And I'm sure if they had, some redos, they would do some do-overs or whatever. There's some lessons that I'm definitely going to keep with me, and some sternness. I try to be super in tune with my daughter and emotionally aware. I think it's a little bit different, I would assume, to raise a boy and a girl. And so with that, there's some lessons that I'm going to keep. There's some sternness, and there's some things that I'm going to shy away from. The one thing I won't shy away from is accountability. And I think that's going to be like the biggest thing is, if you say you're going to do something, do it. If this is the standard that I've set for you as a parent, then we're going to meet this standard, and you're going to be accountable for your actions, your behaviors. And I think that's the thing, that if I can show her that I'm an accountable person, then it won't be hard or as hard for me to demand accountability from her.
Right.
And so we have like some of those conversations, which it's like, she's 6, like what's landing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they tell you don't know what's landing until like your kid's like 25, 30,
Sure.
right? And so I look forward to seeing what lands.
Mm-hmm.
And just being an accountable person and holding her to that accountability standard. That is what that would be what I'm going to focus on, I think, the most.
Sure. Well, I think it's a really profound piece, because your dad, having the track record he did, could have drug you in the mat room and forced you to do these things and forced you to train and forced you to have like the mindset he did or would teach other people to have. But you weren't successful in wrestling until you decided you wanted to be.
Right.
Until you made the decision, like, okay, this is my sport. This is what I'm doing. I know what has to be done. I'm putting my foot in the ground, and now Dad's putting his arm around me. He's going to help me make sure I don't fall off the path. But like, he didn't force you to do it. It's like you made the decision, like, I want to be the best wrestler I can.
Yes.
And then he helped you get there, which I think is really profound, because we see this a lot with parenting, that someone has no interest in playing a sport or doing God knows what, and their parents are just, they got this vision for what they think their kids are going to do and achieve. And I think that's where a lot of parents fall down, is they never even take a second to ask their kids, like, do you want to do this or not?
Right. And I've had the conversations with Haven, and I don't think she's gonna wrestle this year. She did wrestling a little bit last year, and she enjoys pieces of it. And then I think that's more of like the connection, camaraderie, portion of it than it is like the competitive side of it.
Sure.
And she's a big kid. She's like 90th percentile. So last year, I'm like, we lived in Gilbert, Iowa. I'm like, I'll take her to the Gilbert tournament. It's right down the street, 3 minutes from the house. Signed her up the day before, and she's in kindergarten. There's no kindergartners her size. So now it's like, okay, you okay if we bump her up to first and second grade? I'm like, okay. But it's not first and second grade girls because there's still no kids her size.
Sure.
So now she's first and second grade boys.
Okay.
And so the first experience is the best kid in the bracket. And I don't know if the situation was last name Gadson around the area. Oh, like his kid must wrestle. Nah, it's not that type of party.
This is like her first.
Yes.
Oh,
first, yes.
I can see where this is going.
Just like not a ton of practice. She's been around it, been to camps. Like we went to Hawaii because we went to a wrestling camp, and I'm like, you're gonna do if you're going to Hawaii because I'm doing a wrestling camp, you're going to do the camp.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just the situation. And so we get there, and the people, the young boy she wrestled, his name's Easton. His parents, Toby and Marcy, are absolutely awesome. They own a Live Hydration like spa in Ames, and I saw the dad goes, "Be nice," because he could tell there
to the son.
Yes,
okay.
Like the boy was like 8, and just
Be nice.
like he's like almost a full head taller than Haven,
Mm-hmm.
and my man, he looks over, he's like. Gives a thumbs up, and he goes out there, shoots a double, puts her down, puts a half on, and like pins her, and my girl is distraught. Because she was like the night before, she's like, I want to win. I'm like, hey, how about we focus on just having fun, like just going out there and like scrapping, and then the next match. So she's like crying, like going through like, and I'm like, hey, it's okay. Like we'll be fine. Eat some food. Like, and then the next match comes back up. So she's out there this time. These kids are a little bit more evenly matched, and they're out there scrapping. Like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like she has a little bit of natural to it. Like it's really cool to see.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like sprawling. She gets a takedown because she's wrestled with her cousin. She's been in the room and she's wrestled a little bit, and then she lets the kid up, and she was instructed by one of her coaches to let the kid up. And she didn't want to let the kid up. Like, she wanted to keep the kid down. And the period ends. So she walks over after the period. And just, they're like, oh, all right, Haven, you gotta go back. And she's like, no. Like, no, like, I'm not going back. And then she's like, I'm tired. Like, she wouldn't go back out there. So then she was winning that match and
forfeit because she was tired.
Yeah, forfeited because she was tired. And then after that, she wouldn't go back out for the third match. And so that was an experience for sure. And I'm not like worried about like her losing her love for wrestling, because after that she went to some practices, had some opportunity to play some games and do some other things. And then this summer I did a clinic up in Michigan, and I always worried about a coach athlete dynamic because I had that with my dad, and I know there were struggles, like real struggles to it. And she asked if she could be a part of the camp, the kids session that I was teaching. I was like, yeah, you can do it. And she did the whole thing, the whole 3 hours. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And it was like, maybe I could coach her. Maybe if she wants that, maybe I would be able to coach her. And so just really enjoyed watching her learn and enjoy the wrestling. because I don't think she's going to be a wrestler. If I'm picking, she's going to be a swimmer.
Okay.
But that's because she like loves the water. But going into swimming, you might not love the water, right? So we'll see what she decides that she wants to do. I think, again, the standard that I'm going to set for is if you do something, do it, and do it to be your absolute best, and do it to represent yourself well, and use it as a vehicle. Don't do all this hard work for you to not have the opportunities to, go travel and do those things. Like do it to use it as a vehicle to change your life and to build relationships and those different things. So
No, I love that. And who knows, a couple years from now, the girls will continue that program will continue to blossom. There could be more opportunities. She might find interest in it as well too. Kind of fast forwarding it into your career. Let's talk about Iowa State a little bit. So. Right. You go into Iowa State, talk me through like the first couple of years and then going into kind of your junior and senior year. What was that wrestling experience like, making the jump to a Division I program?
Super tough. This weekend, Iowa State Hall of Fame happened. Chris Bono's went into the Iowa State Hall of Fame. John Reeder was back, who was the captain of the Iowa State wrestling team and the NCAA champion in 2011. And John and I had a really good conversation because he was my first practice live wrestling in college. And it was absolutely brutal. It was brutal. Like, did not score a point, and I was just in shock. He was weight class smaller, and just handled me for 45 minutes. And I remember calling my dad and be like, "Hey, Dad, I am not sure what just happened, but I'm not sure we're in the right space."
Maybe she like D3, like JUCO, right? Should I retire?
We gotta figure something out. He's like, "Hey man, just get ready for the next practice." And got ready for the next practice, and John and I wrestled again. I think it was like maybe a 9-5 match or a 9-6 match. I'm like, oh, okay, so I can wrestle. John's just intensity for 45 minutes was next level, and that's why he was 38-0. He was on the Hodge Trophy, which is the Heisman of Wrestling watch list that year to be like the Hodge Trophy winner. And he was an NCAA champ, and he did it with a big old bandage around his head, blood like gushing, like uncomfortable circumstances. He got it done. And when we talked this week, and I just thanked him for his example. Like, again, I've been so blessed to have great examples around me that I got to see what it looked like and what you had to do to be an NCAA champ undefeated. And he said, we were talking about the first practice, and he was like, when I wrestled you, I knew, it's always easy to say, but he said, I knew that you were going to be good. And maybe it was because I just kept getting up.
Sure.
You
a deranged, undefeated guy just
right?
Beating the crap out of you. And you're like, let's do some more. Let's go.
Let's keep getting up. But I'm like, my spirit is emotionally broke, but I'm like going to keep getting up, Mm-hmm. And so it was just, I've been fortunate. And so that was my first practice. Had the Paulson brothers, had David Zabriskie, who I also got to see this weekend because it was Hall of Fame weekend. This weekend was amazing weekend for me because I got to see so many people that were a big part of my life in a step into a different part of my life. Mm-hmm. And so when we round back out to the first couple years at Iowa State, injury. Doing well, then injury. Doing well again, make the U20 World Cup team, tear my right shoulder. Come back from that, we get healthy for what's going to be my redshirt freshman year. November, first duel, tear my left shoulder against Oklahoma and lose that match. Then I'm like, what is going on? I can't stay healthy. I think I'm good enough now to be able to succeed, but my body is essentially betraying me, right? And then right after I tear that left shoulder again, so it's 3 shoulder surgeries in 20 months.
Holy cow.
And then grandma dies the next week. The only grandparent I knew dies the next week. So we get through through that situation, get the shoulder surgery in January of 2012, and finish out that season with Iowa State, just mending on the rehab, but depressed, dealing with, like, had never drank before, but now doing underage drinking, just dealing with the distractions, right? And then find out right after the NCAA tournament in 2012 is over that my dad has stage 4 lung cancer and doesn't smoke, never smoked. And I'm like, what in the world? And stage 4 is essentially, it's a done deal. So I remember that summer being like really tough and really like zoning in on a focus going into my sophomore year that I wanted my dad to be able to see the effort and energy that he put into me like pay off. And that had never really been my goal. I had never wrestled with that type of like awareness or external factor. And I like put this like essentially like, in my opinion, put some bricks in a backpack and just started carrying that like, oh, I got to get back so my dad can see me wrestle and he can know that it paid off. And I think it was the wrong mindset to have. It gave me fuel for a time being. It did give me fuel for a time being, but that fuel was like putting like the wrong fuel in a car. And so it wasn't allowing me to like enjoy wrestling, which I had enjoyed for a good portion of my life, and navigated that. I win a Big 12 title. My dad passes the next day. In Waterloo, he passed away. Then that Monday, we got his funeral at Waterloo East High School. Full gymnasium, people are in there. So that's a Monday. You got Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. You're gonna wrestle in the NCAA tournament, and you're supposed to win. Wasn't in the mind frame to win. Was gonna compete, but wasn't in the mind frame to win. End up All-American, and then going into the junior year, I'm gonna be one of the top 2-3 guys in the country returning. And I'm like, all right, but I don't want to wrestle anymore. Because now I'm carrying this brick, and those bricks got heavier the longer I carried them. And now I'm like, man, something's missing. Well, your dad's passed now, and you were doing this so he could see, you were doing it so he could see what you could do, not for self-mastery. And so like there was no longer a driving force. I didn't like losing, but that wasn't enough. And so then get through that season essentially and just like tired. Like I was ranked number 1 in the country at a certain point, probably for like a decent amount of that junior year, and just didn't care. Like just didn't want to be there. But I won. Like I won 30 matches that year. I was ranked number 1 in the country. I only lost to one person, and that person ended up taking 3rd in the country. I beat the NCAA champ. That was the NCAA champ that year. But I didn't want to wrestle. I did not enjoy it. I just was decently good, and I think a little bit of tough, and maybe a lot of it of weird, crazy, whatever. And I really tried to focus on, after that season, I really tried to focus on, all right, where's the kid that loves this sport? Go find him and just hold him dear for the next 8 months. Like, so from after your birthday in July through March, you just hold that kid dear and do it how he would do it. And then you can walk away from the sport. Like, do it how he would tell you to do it, and then you're done with it. That's it. And you don't have to wrestle anymore. And the thing is, because I had another year. I had a medical year that I could have got. And I did it how that kid would have done it, and it was an enjoyable time. I had a ton of fun. I pushed myself. I cried. I threw things. I broke in practice. I stressed myself out, but I stretched myself, and I think I got to see some really really good things come out of that. And that's one of the things I'm really proud of myself for, is just how I was able to figure out how to get back to the spot. Just like, you don't get to do this forever. And I had a ton of gratitude that year. And so, yeah.
That's crazy. I know, and that's got to be the craziest turnaround time ever. Like, your father's funeral, one of the lowest points in your life, and then like, and tomorrow you got to go like wrestle for a national title match. Like, how do you even compartmentalize that? It sounds like it's pretty much impossible to just put that in a box, stick it in the closet, and shut the door for a day so you can go wrestle.
It was really weird because my dad had always told me, don't bring, what's happening outside of the room into the room. And I think I got really good at using whatever was happening outside of the room to fuel, like if something bad was happening, I would use that. Like, let's say I'm having girl issues or whatever, like I'm going to use that, right? Like I'm going to find a little, edge. Like, okay, I'm going to use this to my benefit, right? Instead of, I'm not going to allow this to break me. I'm going to use it to benefit me, right? Let the pain be positive is kind of like how I saw it. Let the sufferings be successful, right? Like, I'm not going to go through all this and not have something positive to show for it. And yeah, so I don't know if I compartmentalized it or if I just like stuffed it away into, those bricks, and then just was like, I'll deal with it later. And I think I learned that you don't want to deal with it later. I think you got to deal with it now, because one of the things that I necessarily like didn't appreciate is the day he died, we had the funeral, and then people came back over to the house, and all everybody wanted to talk about was wrestling and the NCAA tournament coming up. Can I have a day? And I think if I would have got that day, I would have been maybe better prepared to perform at a level. But it was just like, all right, we put him in the ground. You need to get ready for, this is what he would want. You need to get ready for the NCAA tournament.
What's your weight at?
Right?
What's your water intake?
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like, dude.
Hey, so you're going to hit this move. I don't really care about your emotional, state of mind right now. You're going to hit this move. And that just didn't work for me. It was people that had good intention, like cared about me, but I would say they didn't know me. And I didn't know how to communicate, hey, not right now. Especially when you're dealing with people that have been there, they've won NCAA titles, and they've been the best guys in the world, but they just don't have a relationship with you. They had a relationship with your dad. They just don't have a relationship with you. Mm-hmm. And so it's like navigating like those boundaries, those waters as a young man. I'm 20 years old at that point. And I hadn't yet learned how to use my voice in a way that would have been like appropriate, and like set those boundaries.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever have a draw or a tendency to go do those kind of like, I would say negative actions to kind of drown out the pain, like drinking, partying, like being like, forget wrestling, I'm just like going to go try and not think about this? Was there any thoughts like that surrounded when you had lost your dad?
Yes. So it happened when I couldn't wrestle. So when I tore the shoulders in college, I went through like a phase of probably like 12 months in that period. And then after my dad passed away in March, season got over 2 weeks later. I don't know how to grieve. I'm also not emotionally mature enough to go talk to anybody about how to grieve. And I don't know if we necessarily had the resources for someone to come talk to me or recognize the signs of this person is grieving and going through like situations. And so I had pain pills from the surgeries and had access to drinking, because I was just about to turned 21. And, you can find alcohol on a college campus if you want.
Sure, especially
Yeah.
you're being who you are.
Yeah,
Show up to any house party, but Gadson's here, get this man a drink.
And so there was a tough situation that I feel like would have like changed my life had it changed my life anyways, but without a dire consequence. And I went to throw out a first pitch at the Waterloo Bucks baseball game. I was 21, freshly 21, month after, and we were like, all right, we can go to the bars after this. Like, I had just All-American. Dad had passed, was a Big 12 champ. And we go to the bars in Cedar Falls. And I thought I was really responsible. I felt really responsible, like how I drank. But again, I'm freshly 21. I don't carry around a breathalyzer. And I'm like, okay, I'm like checking myself out. 7-minute shot, like straight from university, turn right, get off the highway on South Haggett. I'll be home in 7 minutes, right? Easy drive. And get in the car. And I've always had somewhat of a heavy foot. And so I was driving a little bit fast, and I think I dropped something and swerved just a little bit, whatever. And then I just see lights. Like, out my peripheral. And I'm like, oh, my goodness. So I pull over. And the crazy thing is you, like, have this, like, maybe at 21 years old, you have this, like, thought, like, do I, like, try to lose this person? Like you go there. Like, do I like? I'm like, it's not. You're like close. You're like close. Like, and I was like, nah. Like, just pull over. Like, this, like all of the thoughts that's like happening right now, and I end up pulling over. I tell my buddy that I'm with, I'm like, hey, if I get arrested, right? If I get arrested, like I felt like I was good, but I just was like, if I get arrested, make sure you call Coach Jackson and you let him know, like, right away so he can do whatever he needs to do as a head coach. Because, like, when you're a supervisor or a leader of people, like, you do not want to get surprises. And that finding out that you're one of your best athletes, student athletes, is getting arrested for drunk driving is not a surprise you want at 2.
Especially like in the newspaper the next day.
Yes,
like you're finding out when everyone else is finding out.
Yeah. And so I'm like, just call him. We go through the whole situation. I do all the tests. I'm like, I'm fine. Like, I'm clearly fine. And at the end of it, the officer is just like, hey, can you? He's like, I got one more test for you. I just did everything you asked me to do, like, perfectly fine. He's like, hey, can you blow in this? I'm like, yeah. So I blow in it. I blow up 0.085.
Oh.
0.085. And I'm like, he's like, do you know what the legal limit is? I'm like, if I'm correct, it's like 0.08. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm literally like, dang. Like, I'm really about to go over. That's probably like half a drink, I would think, at my size, right?
If
like,
you'd have waited 10 minutes, 15 minutes,
yeah, like
ate something in the car on the way,
drank some water, you know, like ate something, like just chilled a little bit longer, probably would have been fine. And I'm like, wow, this is like bad. And for whatever reason, he was like, just call someone to come pick you up. Yeah. That'd be like 12 years ago. Like, you just call someone to come pick you up. And someone came and picked me up, and that was that. And I'm not a big drinker. And now I have a breathalyzer in my car, like just like in the glove compartment.
Dang.
Just because it's just like, it's not worth it. It's never worth it, because I don't know what could have happened, but if you think about the worst thing that could have happened, it's not you dying. It's you being responsible for like someone else dying. And so I just think about that as like a turning point, like a really a growth point in my life that needed to happen. And I'm fortunate that it didn't happen with heavy consequences in terms of someone's life, you know?
For sure. Yeah, and that's pretty wild too, just how that could have completely derailed your entire wrestling career if you had, time that you had to take off or get, matches you miss or, I can't think of the word. Geesh. If you're unable to play or compete, suspended, yeah,
Yes.
like you have like can't wrestle for a certain amount of time, that would be pretty wild. So,
and I think that'd have been like minimum, versus dealing with this person is no longer here because of your decisions. I'm just, again, just grateful that it wasn't something that went so catastrophic that was the outcome that made me change. It made me change without it going to that that super, super crazy level.
Sure. It was the wake-up call you feel like you needed, though, just to kind of like,
absolutely,
this is your one and only get out of jail free card,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's awesome. We've kind of glanced over or had talked a little bit about you winning the national championship. Was that your junior or senior year when that happened?
That would have been senior year.
Senior year. Okay.
Senior year.
So we'll kind of fast forward through that entire year. You mentioned before we started, like, there's a lot of media attention around your path to the podium because of your father passing away and those types of things, just a lot of more attention. Talk me through that final match. I think you'd wrestled, let me see here. Who's the guy that you wrestled in the national championship?
It's Kyle Snyder.
That's right.
Yes.
So we'll kind of talk about that a little bit. Walk me through kind of the day of that championship match. And as you're kind of leading up to it, I mentioned kind of the media frenzy a little bit, kind of the narrative around everything. Talk me through kind of your experience that day.
That day was awesome. It was just like, I got one more match left. Like, how do I want to be remembered? And the whole NCAA tournament, they had this compilation of pins in the NCAA final playing. So every time I got to the lobby, there was this compilation of all the pins in the NCAA finals playing. I'm like, that's going to be, I want to be on that. And you go back again to that kid and watching the NCAA tournament and seeing some of those pins happen. And as a wrestler in America, in my opinion, at that time, the goal was like win NCAA titles versus maybe being a world and Olympic champ. And so for
that being the bigger thing, right?
Yes,
like college is the pinnacle, not
that's
pro.
what it felt like for me anyways.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, a kid that wants to win a world title, they're going to shoot a three. A kid that wants in basketball, a kid catches the touchdown in the NFL championship. Like, I grew up wanting to be Randy Moss. A kid that's playing baseball is going to hit a dinger. Like I'm thinking I'm Randy Moss, I'm Derek Jeter, I'm Kobe Bryant. Like, these are the people that I played in my head. And for me, wrestling wise, it was like getting a pin is like, in the NCAA finals is the ultimate like walk off. And I remember talking to the media team and all those things and really just being at peace. Just like, this is the last time I'm going to wrestle. I'm going to enjoy all of this because I'm not doing this anymore. And I was like, I told him, I was like, I'm going to get a pin in the NCAA finals. Like, that's what it's about for me, is to get a pin in the NCAA final. And that's one of the coolest videos that I have that I can look back on, is that I trained for it. I spoke it into existence. And then I went out and executed it. And to have that type of, like, just peace going into the bout was just really cool. Like, I visualized it. I worked with our sports psych on it, Marty, Coach Jackson. We had to just talked about the game plan and how we saw it being carried out. And then to go do it like that was like, this is epic.
Just like an out-of-body experience, I can't imagine.
Crazy.
So you pin him.
Yes.
I'm assuming the crowd goes nuts, right?
Crazy. If you go back and just watch people's crowd reactions, there's just like shock, awe, dismay, heartbreak, jubilation. People are experiencing everything because there's the Snyder fans, right?
Distraught,
Right,
crying,
distraught. Yeah,
screaming.
just like,
you swear they
yes.
just murdered their
Like,
whole family or
yes.
something. It's like,
And because he was slated to be like a 4-time NCAA champion, right? There's the Iowa State fans that are just pumped to the gills. Then you have the neutral people that are just like, yo, did he really just do that? So it's you. I went back and watched it a few times just to see the like crowd reaction. Not even watch the wrestling. It's crazy.
Sure.
Yes.
So you pin him. What kind of experience was that when the ref's holding your hand up and kind of that overwhelm comes over you? Like it's like you said, it's that pinnacle moment you've been training for your entire career. Like
Right.
What was that feeling like for you?
Just pure adrenaline. Just pure adrenaline. Just dumped into your system. And just grateful. Just I don't know if there's another word to like describe it, but just grateful. Just appreciated all the hard moments that had led up to this. It's like when you're watching a movie and it goes back and it just like flutters through like all the things that got to like boom, and then you're just like boom, and then like your hands raised. And I even go back to a moment that was like unique for me. I given a speech at the Iowa State Athletic Director's reception that year, and the AD, he pulled me back up on stage and he goes, Kyven, come here. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, I'm going to do something that's going to be like done to you at the end of this year. And he like grabs my hand after I give the speech and raises it. And he's like, Kyven Gadson, NCAA champion. So it wasn't just me that believed this was going to happen. I think it was several people. And they say like when multiple people believe like things are going to happen, like truly believe it's going to happen, then that energy, like it doubles, it triples, and you just get to those places like quicker, and maybe you might even seem more effortless. But I think a multitude of people believed that I was going to be an NCAA champ in 2015, and I think they put their energy into it and their resources and their support, and it was really cool to be able to watch that come to fruition.
I love that. In the middle of our show, we do what's called a lightning round. So we're
Okay.
going to go do that now. Just
Yeah.
like kind of break it up a little bit. I think this will be really fun. And they're random questions I haven't briefed you on. They're all around the world of wrestling. So it's not going to be like, what's the square root of pi to the 10th decimal or something weird like that. The first question, if you could wrestle any ISU legend, who do you got on the mat?
Legend or just
Anybody from the past, from ISU? That's
I'd wrestle my dad, 100%.
Okay.
100%. I just, people were like, he was so big, strong, and I just think that would be cool. I'd like to have the opportunity because I didn't really get to do that as I like grew. Like he stopped wrestling me, I think, and after my sophomore year when I started listening.
Oh,
How convenient.
Then he's like, well, I'm going to give you all my secret
Right,
knowledge. I'm not
like
doing
how
this.
convenient.
Yeah.
So I'd wrestle my dad, and then like next would be like my uncle,
Okay.
and then I would have loved to get an awareness of what it felt like to wrestle like a Dan Gable or a Kale for sure.
Sure. No, I love that. If you're wrestling your dad, who do you think's going to win?
If I lost, then he didn't do his job.
Okay. And if he's so confused, what's this time traveling guy that looks kind of like me wrestling me? Like, what the
Right.
heck?
If I lost, you failed, Dad.
Sure.
So
That's awesome. Let's see here. Another one. Who's winning a duel, a gorilla or a hippo?
ooh, I'm gonna say, is it in water?
Oh, that's a good question.
Or
Sure.
land?
I was land. Let's say land,
Okay,
because
land.
obviously water, gorillas, disadvantage.
Yeah.
We'll say land.
Well, going in the Carver, you could say, sometimes it's a disadvantage depending. I would say I'm thinking the gorilla's gonna win.
Okay. I like that.
Where are you at with that?
I've seen hippos just like smash a watermelon with like barely chewing. I'm
Right.
like, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
You gotta stay away from what they do well.
Sure.
The gorilla, you gotta stay away from what they do well.
Yeah. No, that's a tough call there. Let's see. Your go-to walkout song. Get hyped up. Like if it's a wrestling match, MMA fight, what's kind of your go-to walkout song?
So I came out to, I think I was undefeated in dual meets. I would say outside of the one that I tore my shoulder and lost, that first one. And I came out to the 300 violin orchestra. And so if you're gonna clip this portion, okay, this is how I visualize this happening, okay? You got the 300 violin orchestra music coming on, and it's playing, and it's like, and it's like 20, 25 seconds in, and then there's just like a boom, and it stops, and then the clap start, like it just okay, so that's how I visualize my walkouts, but with crowd engagement and them clapping. I feel like that would be like one of the most epic ways to walk to a cage ever.
Mm-hmm.
Just like with the crowd clapping with the music. And so if I have like bucket list, I'd love to do that for a UFC world heavyweight or light heavyweight like title fight. Like that's like bucket list in my dream of things to do.
Sure. No, I love that. I've seen a really funny clip somewhere where the guy clearly gave the announcer box the wrong song. He said the Halo song, like the Halo theme song, and they started playing Halo by Rihanna.
My by Beyonce, yeah.
Or Beyonce,
Perry.
yeah.
We talked about that this weekend. At the fight, we talked about that this weekend.
She's like, "Baby, let me see your Halo."
He's like
like all hunched over.
Yes.
Damn it, wrong song.
Yes.
The Halo song. I love that. What is one thing that most people don't know about you?
One thing that most people don't know about me. Probably that I like to write poetry, and I like to like read poetry. I'm big on like quotes and poetry and trying to take something from those things and just like, oh, I really like that. Like before this fight, let me read this one to you. Here was, because I think people are like, well, why are you fighting? Like, what are you
fighting for?
Doing
right?
that for?
Yeah.
Right? Like you have a job, you're a dad, like all these different things. So why are you choosing to go and do MMA fighting? And the best way I can like encapsulate it is, fishermen know that the sea is dangerous and the storm fearsome, but they have never found those dangers sufficient reason for remaining ashore. They leave that wisdom to those whom it appeals. When the storm comes, when night falls, what's worse, the danger or the fear of danger? Give me reality, the danger itself. And that's by Vincent van Gogh. But then like my favorite poem is If by Rudyard Kipling.
Okay.
And I think that talks to me mostly just about how I want to carry myself, how I want to treat people, how I want to move throughout this life.
Sure. No, it's great too. It just, because as your dad talked about when you were younger, it's like you can hit the podium and whatever, but it's like, how are you doing it? Did you leave everything on the mat? Are you being good off the mat? Are you taking care of the things? I think it's a big tie-in for sure. One of the last questions I have here is any pre-match ritual or superstition that you'll admit to doing before wrestling or before MMA fight?
Pre-match ritual or something I admit to doing? No, I'm not a big like ritual person. I say my prayers and just ask for health and the ability to go perform how I prepared to perform. And sometimes you probably don't want to perform how you prepared to perform. But nothing, I don't like listening to music like in headphones. I like being alone with my thoughts and navigating those like emotions and that fear and still being like, I'm going to go do this. This is what I chose. I asked for these opportunities, and now I'm about to go showcase the work and the energy that we've put into this. So
Sure. No, I love it.
I'm not a big ritual person, no.
That's fair. Some people are weird. They're like, oh, I'm going to put a rabbit spit in my pocket or spit in my socks or do some weird like clapping thing,
you.
secret handshakes with their whoever.
Yeah.
So I always thought I'd ask. But you passed the gauntlet of the lightning round. Congratulations.
Ding, 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 ding.
We had talked about mostly wrestling up into this point. I want to shift gears here. I know you mentioned you have a master's degree, right?
Yes, sir.
So let's talk about that. You finish out college, kind of start your day job, your career outside of wrestling. What does that look like for you?
So I got my master's degree in May of 17, higher education, leadership, and learning from Iowa State. My undergrad was child, adult, and family services with a youth emphasis. And I started working at the ISU Foundation in 2022. I did a year associateship with Iowa State Athletics and Office of Student Athlete and Letter Winner Development, working with the student athletes on preparing for life, essentially after college athletics. And that was fresh into the NIL era. But I was also wrestling for Team USA that year and then stepped away at the end of or mid 2022, and then started in the foundation August of 22. So I've been at the foundation for a little over 3 years. So I'm in my like fourth year there, and my role is to go out and connect with people and learn about their stories. I get the great opportunity to like build relationships with people and learn how Iowa State like impacted their lives. And oftentimes those conversations, you get to have these conversations about philanthropic conversations about if they would like to support Iowa State or do a scholarship or, student support or faculty support and building. So you get to meet some really cool people that love Iowa State and want to see Iowa State be successful. And so like that's what the day job is. And then the night job is Myriad MMA Academy.
Just beating the hell out of people. Dude, you're like a Ninja Turtle at night. You're like,
I know,
the lights go down. You're like, ba-da-da-ba-da-da-da. He's coming out with his dump truck. He's ready.
Oh, man. I have my pizza. I need some pizza.
There you go.
And
these delivery drivers never notice that it's a turtle grabbing the pizza.
And so then that was founded in 2021 with Jake Bauer, and then we decided to partner in 2024 and rebrand essentially as Myriad MMA Academy, and we have a focus on jiu-jitsu and MMA. I run some wrestling classes. We have some great striking coaches and some guys that are teaching jiu-jitsu, and we're more of a competitive like academy. Like if you come there, you're probably going to want to maybe compete at some point. And I think we've done a healthy job of building a really cool culture. And I think that all starts with like the vision that Jake had, and just we've been able to, I think, amplify it since 2024 and grow it. Now we're in a really cool space, and we've just had some really good support. Like when you think about, I think about the Field of Dreams, right? If you build it, they will come. And how we've been fortunate enough to have some really cool people that have seen the vision and have helped support the vision through their energy, their time, their resources, and can't thank those people like enough. Because the one thing that I learned in college wrestling, high school wrestling, international, senior level, Olympic level wrestling is that there is no success without support. Like it just doesn't happen. Like, nobody is self-made. You got to break here, you got to break there. And that's the thing that has been probably the coolest, is like finding the people or attracting the people that want to partner with you and help you move your dreams forward and move the dreams forward of young people. Like we have unconventional student athletes at Myriad MMA Academy. They're not the traditional student athlete at Iowa State. They don't have a ton of resources. MMA doesn't promise anything, but it can take from you a lot. It can take from you a lot. And we have some young people in there that want to make that their career, and they need support. They need high standards, but they also need high support, and that's the only way you get amazing things to happen. So I feel like I'm pretty busy, and then I'm a dad on top of that. First and foremost, I think you'd have to ask Haven how she feels about that, because she does spend a good amount of time at the gym. But I think she enjoys it because she often gets like snacks and gets to run around. But we'll see in 30 years, right? Or 25.
Sure.
Closer to 25 now. So.
Sure. Well, now you're on the other end. I mean, I'm assuming there was some, you get your diploma, you shake the hand, get your picture taken, and it's like, now what? It's like trying to navigate that a little bit more. What's been your experience now trying to kind of, you had these lanes already kind of pre-carved. Somebody had already, You've already seen somebody with a machete go through the woods and make a little path, and you're like, oh, I could go down that path. What's it been like for you to now pick up your own machete and go off in the woods and to kind of make your own path with this?
It's been failure. Failure is feedback. Like 100% failure is feedback. And just appreciating that you get to fail without, again, the dire consequences, right? I have a really solid opportunity at the foundation where that is a stable opportunity for me. And then with the other time, I get to pursue like other endeavors. Failure is definitely feedback. And the thing that I think I love most about Iowa State is like the emphasis they put on entrepreneurship and innovation. And that's, though there's so many resources out there that maybe entrepreneurs and people don't recognize, but Ames, Iowa has a lot of really good things going on. And I'm just really fortunate that that's the space that I'm still in 15 years later. I got here in June of 2010, and this place has been great for me, and just been able to learn a ton, and mature as a person and as a man. And yeah, it's been really good.
That's cool. Do you ever feel like, you'll have like your fanboys, if you will, people that come and are like, oh, hey, like they know you from the college days. Right. Has it been enough time now where there's less of that and people know you for what you're doing now? Or is it more like they're constantly looking in the rearview mirror and remembering like what you did in high school and college?
I think it's a mixture. With my role at the foundation, sometimes the wrestling is a talking piece. One of the things I try to navigate appropriately is, when do you bring up the wrestling, or do you ever bring it up? Because I get to sit with some people and I'm like, oh, well, why did you decide to take the visit today? Because you're Kyven Gadson. Oh, okay. Appreciate that. All right, thanks. Like now,
let me get at the film table.
like, okay. So like that's some awareness. And then you ask another person, they have no idea, because they loved Iowa State. Like they have no idea who I am. And now I feel like I don't have to, maybe I'm in a situation where, oh, you're getting to meet me as I am, not as what you maybe thought or who I was or what I did. You're meeting someone who was a national champ for the person that's like, oh, you're Kyven Gadson. Like, I'd like to meet you and pick your brain. This person's meeting Kyven Gadson, the ISU Foundation Development Officer, and whoever would have reached out to them, they would have probably picked up because they care about Iowa State University. And that's been like the coolest thing, is like there's a duality there, right? Sometimes my name allows me, and my like past performance and actions allow me a different level of access. And sometimes someone's meeting me right there as I am today and just is like, I like you. And I appreciate the questions you ask about me. I appreciate how you make me feel seen or heard, or your attention to detail, or how you treat me in these situations. Because I feel like there's a really delicate balance, because this is my job to build these relationships, and you have to be authentic, because if you're not authentic, you'll I feel like you'll get sick, right? Like, unless you're like maybe like a psycho or whatever, but like, but some people probably have that.
Sure.
And so just understanding like all those nuances is like, there's like I say it's like the duality of a professional, because there's one part of me, especially now, like you got foundation, you got fighting, and there's things that translate to both: the persistence, the ability to deal with someone hanging up on you, saying, don't call me, the ability to respond to, checking a kick and you feel that pain, or getting punched and being like, ooh, I didn't like that, but I got to still figure out how to keep moving forward. There's a lot of correlation, I think, and just navigating all of it to try and just create the life that I want to live, like creating what I believe is like my best ideal life. And that's what I'm in pursuit of. And I feel like if I continue to work on becoming my most accountable and best self, that I'll attract those things and attract the people that want to help me do that, and attract the people that are going to push me and support me and help me navigate those challenging, seas, because a ship isn't meant to stay in the harbor,
Sure. No, I love that. Well, I think it's interesting because a lot of people would probably see your path. It's like, it's a lot of pain. It's a lot of suffering, but self-induced and calculated. But the amount of callous that you have in life to pursue these other things or try another thing, where some other person might have thought about combat sports, like, I'm a wrestler, that's what I do. Or why would anybody want me to work at the university? Like, I'll just go get another job doing something else. I think those like calluses kind of build you up over time to kind of think about, like you said, you look in the mirror and like, did I do everything I could have done to get myself where I am? That type of thing.
And I feel like we're meant to fail. We're meant to fail. We're meant. I failed my whole life. Like I wasn't a 4-time state champ. I didn't win a youth AAU state title. I didn't win a USA state title until 6th grade, after like 4 or 5 years. I didn't start off high school winning a state title. I didn't start off college winning NCAA titles. I didn't get to my Olympic dreams. And I started off MMA getting beat up because the person I'm training with is a wrestler too. And they already have some of the skill sets, And so just take the failure. Use it as feedback. Use it to nourish yourself and just get awareness of, okay, let's look at it objectively. This person's been doing it this long. I'm doing it right now. How can I get better today? How can I look at it, make it a little bit smaller, and get better today? And if I can do something that I know is going to help me be better today, then I'll be all right if I can stack that. If you look at my fight kit from this weekend at Absolute Combat League 8, ACL 8, there's a bunch of diamonds on it. And I was working out with my buddy Matt Buckley, and I would do like my farmer walkers. I was doing this thing called Friendly Farmer Walker, Kyven, and farmer walkers are just, you're carrying dumbbells and you're walking, and did that my whole wrestling career, and gonna pick it back up now with this combat sports and MMA. And I would leave a message, right? And my message one day was like, you want to try to have as many diamond days as possible. So on my fight kit, it's just it's my logo and then a bunch of diamonds. And it's just a reminder, like, you've stacked, like all those diamonds on there are days I stacked up in training. Those are days that I didn't want to get up at 4:30 or 4 o'clock and go train, but I did. Those are days that I was hurting and I didn't want to go for that jog, but I did. Those are days where my daughter was getting on my nerves and I didn't allow myself to get emotionally hijacked, and I set myself back down and showed some restraint and some accountability and had a conversation with her, and instead of leaving a wound that she's going to have to heal, she had a conversation and she knows I can share things with my dad. And so when I think about life and what I want to do as consistently as possible is I want to put as many diamond days together consistently. And when my time's up, I feel that I'll be like at peace. Because the one thing that I think about pretty consistently is my dad was 59 when he passed away. If that were to be my situation, I'm halfway through my life already. And if it were to happen earlier, be like, man, I got to live. I got to do what I feel like I'm meant to do. I got to live to be present, impact people, connect with people, empower people, engage with people, care for people. And I'll be at peace with, I think, what happens if I can consistently put those things together.
For sure. No, and it's so impactful, though. You mentioned, like, the grit. I feel like character grit and determination, and just never, like, no one's going to know you're missing that workout at 4 besides you. Mm-hmm. But you'll know.
Right.
And then if you get beat on your fight night, damn it, if I'd have just done the work, you know what I mean? Like, it's such a skill set that people can callous their mind with, whether it's fighting or wrestling or any modality, whatever pick your poison, you know? Because I think about even with my high school career, like I was getting beat up in football really bad, and the coaches were saying, hey, you got to come in, you got to train. So I remember my sophomore through my senior year, I didn't miss one morning weight workout for 3 years consistently, and left it all in the field, and then your regret's gone because it's like I went to every practice, gave it my all, like I didn't miss. There was a day I think I had to go to a funeral for a family member, still came in that night and did the workout. Yeah. Like I knew I'd miss,
Yes.
And that work ethic, it changes your whole life, you know? You get out of high school, out of college, and it's like, what's the next challenge? What am I going to take this mindset and apply it to? Whether your career, your relationships, your whatever things you're trying to conquer, whatever the next mountain is, you know?
Yeah.
It's a huge thing.
And I just, like when you said mountain, it just hit me. Also, like on my fight kit, I had my learning partner from grad school. Her name is Karen Cooves. And she climbed Mount Kilimanjaro with her daughter. And she passed away on the descent. And she just had her celebration of life in October 4th at Ryman Gardens. And that happened. And she was just like such a burst of personality, like loved people, again, cared for people. I remember when I first let her know like I was going to be pursuing my Olympic dreams that I set for myself when I was a kid. She's like, how can I support you? You know, like that type of person in your life. And so I had a heart with a mountain in the heart and a KC logo on my fight kit, because she said one of her quotes that she loved by Jack Kerouac, Kerouac or something like that, was, you won't remember the times you were in the office or the times you mowed the lawn. Like, go climb that gosh dang mountain. And that's kind of how I felt about like MMA. And so I was already in the process of like doing that, and then got the news like on a morning when I was getting up to work out that she had passed. Her daughters had reached out to me, and it was just like, and it hurt me because I'd been so like engulfed with like this MMA stuff and trying to get myself ready for this that I didn't make the time to go tell her, hey, go have fun out there when you're going to climb that mountain. I had missed it in August, and then found out that she passed. I'm like, man. And the last text from her was a happy birthday to me in July. I'm like, so I try to be intentional about giving people the flowers while they're still here, because I don't want to not have said, hey, I love you. Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you for supporting me in this endeavor. Thank you for calling me out. Thank you for being available to take this call. Like, I'm struggling right now. And I think about those things, and I just think about all the amazing people that I've had in my life that have been available for me while I've navigated life. And Karen was definitely one of those people. So she's missed. I know her daughters are navigating those situations. But if I had a message for people today, it's make sure you make that call, send that text, pop by, say hello to that person that you haven't talked with, because we don't know. We don't know when we'll get those opportunities.
Sure. No, I love that. Tying it all together here, you mentioned you're having to learn all these new striking techniques. You can actually use your hands. You can hit, kick. What the heck?
Knees.
You can
You can
run in a circle if you want to. You don't got to lay on the ground. Any of that stuff. How has that been coming into something that you're very seasoned at, but also a complete beginner at the same time? Like, how has that duality been for you as a competitor and kind of going into your first fight?
It was awesome because you get to learn. You get knocked down and you got to get back up, just like you're a baby learning how to crawl. And so that's been like the best thing, is because I do like my Gallup strength finders. So the Gallup strength finders, and one of my top 5 is learner.
Okay.
So I like love learning about what I want to learn about. And I want to learn about MMA, and I've enjoyed learning about it, and just, it's high level problem solving at a very, very high speed. And the speed isn't going to get any slower from here, depending on where we're able to take this thing. And I enjoy that. I enjoy that pressure, dealing with those nerves, that anxiety, and learning how to work through it. And as we got two fighters at the gym, Joel Danger Dudley, and Craig the Conqueror. And so it's like, I gave him those nicknames.
Okay. I like it.
And it's like, I'm going to deal with this danger, and then I'm going to go conquer this danger. And I've learned so much from them. They're 19, 21. And they think they're probably learning from me, but I'm like picking their brains and learning from them, and just trying to create an environment and a culture that allows us all to thrive. And I'm fortunate, man.
Sure. No, it sounds like it's a cool combination though. It's the chasing this new endeavor with the MMA, but also like staying in your history ties with the college and staying in Ames. Like, that whole area is super interesting to kind of like combine the two for a career path, you know?
Yeah. Because it was one of those things, like in 2015, if there would have been someone in Ames, I think with a gym that you could go to and you can grow and learn some different skills, I think I would have ventured over there a few times, as long as they had like a relationship with Iowa State and those different things. And so I want to make sure that the wrestlers coming after me have a place to go in Ames. The students have a place to go. We want to make sure that the families that like combat sports have a place to go where they can learn, high level. People can learn self-defense. We got to work with the Iowa State men's basketball team this year for 7 weeks. We worked with some football players last summer. We've worked with some wrestlers. We're trying to create a community environment that allows us to not just host the competitors, because there's a time and a place where you got to compete, but also to be able to host a community and have events that are family friendly, those different types of things. So we're fortunate, and we're really excited about like the future of Myriad MMA Academy and Ames, and some of the things that we believe we can do and the impact we can make, because it's our vision to be like a combat sports hub, and I think that will help elevate the people, the mindset that you can do hard things. You're very capable. You just got to have high standards, and you got to have high support, and you got to have a high will and drive within yourself to want to go and find out about yourself, because it is scary, but you're courageous. And my favorite thing is you can be anything in the world, be rare. And I try to live that way.
I love that. Tying it all together here, we talked about legacy a little bit and kind of like speaking things into existence. Now that your father's been passed for a decade, what do you feel like was his legacy?
What's his legacy? I think overall, from the people that I get to talk to, or the random message I get, is that he was a person that cared about people and saw people, and people appreciated that. Like, he spoke life into people and to their situations, and worked to empower and encourage people.
Now that you're past your college days, you're on to this new endeavor. What do you feel like is a legacy you want to leave for the world and for your daughter and for anyone else that's been, what do you want people to think of you when your time is gone here?
I want people to think of me one more time. I listened to President Winterstein speak at our Dean's Advisory Council on Friday in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, and she shared, that question was asked to her, and she shared that legacy is for other people to decide. And I think that I'm pretty comfortable with the interactions and how I treat people, that collectively, if I continue to treat people well, that people will feel that and they'll speak positively on my name. And if I were to leave the world early, that Haven would have a lot of people that would reach out and hug her and look to guide her and continue to hold her accountable to the standard of how I would have encouraged her to live her life. So I feel that legacy is, it's for other people to decide. I know how I want to execute on how I treat people. And if I do that well, I think I'll be okay.
That's great. I love that. As we're all tying it together here, where can people learn more about you? Follow your MMA career? Maybe if they want to come check the gym out, where can people go to find more about you?
Myriad MMA Academy is in Ames, Iowa. We are at 2100 East 13th Street, Suite 102. We do need a big sign, so if anybody wants to help us get a big sign out there, please reach out. You can follow me at Gadson Strong on any platform, X, Threads, Instagram, Kyven Gadson, Kyven Gadson on Facebook. You can follow us at Myriad on Facebook, Myriad MMA Ames on Instagram, and then Myriad Ames on YouTube also. We're trying to do a really good job of putting high-level quality content in front of people. And yeah, if anyone has questions about combat sports and wants to know like how you get started by walking in the doors and saying hello and asking some questions. So move those feet. Slow feet don't eat is what they say. So move those feet, come see us, reach out, ask the questions. If anyone has any questions about my career or wants to get in contact with me and my team about like next steps, you can shoot an email at gatsonscombat@gmail.com. And I would love to find people that want to help partner and push and propel me to have an opportunity to find out if I can be the absolute best in the world in this endeavor and help create an environment where other people can also pursue that as well. So we're trying to. When I was at Iowa State, in the Student Innovation Center, there's a sign that says where geniuses gather in the Student Innovation. And I was like, that's so sweet. And we don't have that type of money for signage. So I'm like, how do we get that on the wall? Like, but saying like where champions come, where champions are created, something along those lines, and just having the opportunity to have like those visuals and those messages and those reminders that if you walk into Myriad, you might leave discouraged today, but if you come back, there'll be something there that you can pull from and grow from and find some encouragement, because we're going to have the days that we feel maybe like dirt, right? But you also got to understand that so many amazing things grow from dirt, right? Like you can flip something and make it a positive. Like the rose grew from concrete. You got diamond days. You got to have dirt on your you got to have good soil, right? And so come to Myriad, check us out, see if it's the right fit for you, for your fitness, for your health journey, for your combat sports journey. And I think most importantly, just treat people well.
Sure. No, I love it, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show. If people have made it this far on the show, you guys know what to do. Make sure to give this video a big like and subscribe if you haven't on YouTube. The goal is 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so we're almost there. Just keep on subscribing, share the episode with people that you like and know. We're also going to link up all of Kyven's stuff he just mentioned below, so make sure to check them out on social media. And until next episode, my name is Ryan Snod. It rhymes Lod, and I'm out. Peace. Thank you so much for watching yet another episode of the Rhymes with the Odd podcast. We really do appreciate your support. If you could give us a 5-star review on Apple iTunes, that makes a world of difference, guys. Also, if you're tuning in on YouTube or Spotify, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss another episode, and check us out on social media. Also, if you'd like to inquire more about our services here at Snod Media Group or learn about doing your own podcast for your own business, you can find us at snodmedia.com. We'll see you in the next episode. Peace.